In a world filled with magic, we see a group of soldiers as they go up against a demonic being known as the Corpse God. The Corpse God summons magical weapons, launching them against the soldiers, and easily taking them out. The captain receives news that the legendary hero is on his way, so he orders his men to retreat, knowing that only the hero can take on such a threat. The legendary hero, Sagrua, makes his way to the Corpse God. They engage in combat, and the Corpse God uses his magic to attack the hero, but he fails to deal damage to Sagrua, who uses his sword to defend himself. The Corpse God gathers the souls of the dead, summoning an undead dragon that charges at Sagrua, but the hero easily cuts it in half with his enchanted sword. They continue to exchange blows, and Sagrua manages to push him back. Seeing that he's at a disadvantage, the Corpse God summons a skeleton army to defeat the hero. Sagrua uses his evil eye, allowing him to see the souls of the dead, and we learn that the Corpse God possesses the same ability. Sagrua charges at the skeleton army, jumping over them and launching a fireball toward the ceiling. This causes the ceiling to collapse, raining rocks down on his enemies. Sagrua manages to land a hit on the Corpse God, exposing a brain in a jar, which is revealed to be its true form. The Corpse God prepares to use a powerful spell, but Sagrua charges with all of his might. He thrusts his sword, managing to pierce through it, causing an enormous explosion that pierces through the dark sky, but his memory suddenly becomes cloudy as he struggles to remember the result of the battle, and it turns out that the Corpse God used reincarnation magic. As he wakes up in an alley, with a wound on his neck, the Corpse God looks around, struggling to understand what's going on, and he finds himself in a modern city, unable to recognize anything. He is suddenly spotted by a drone, and the operator, Kurai, is surprised, because he had confirmed that the boy was already dead. He calls his team, informing them that their target is still alive, and Kurai wonders how the boy can still be walking around with a slit throat. Meanwhile, the Corpse God is still having a hard time taking everything in, wondering where he is, because everything is so foreign to him. He observes the people, seeing that everyone is happy, so he thinks that this world must be peaceful. He thinks about his own world, unsure about how he can return, but at that moment, he is approached by two policemen who try to talk to him, but he can't understand what they're saying. He slowly starts to understand them as he pulls linguistic information from his body's brain. He tells the officers that he's okay and introduces himself as Polka. The policemen are shocked to see the wound on his neck, telling him he needs medical assistance. But a strange girl suddenly steps on the officer's head, glad to see that Polka is alive, grabbing him by the arm and dashing off with him. They reach an alley, where the girl introduces herself as Misaki. Polka begins to remember who she is, when Misaki suddenly throws him into the air, claiming to be checking if he is really alive. But she suddenly pulls out a crowbar, revealing that she was the one who killed him the first time. Polka starts running away, while Kurai watches them through his drone, wondering why someone would pay to have a 16-year-old boy killed, but he knows that they won't get paid unless Polka dies. Polka becomes exhausted, commenting on his new body's limitations, since it took all of his strength just to run away, and it seems to have no capacity for magic. He thinks about what he should do, knowing that one fatal wound would lead to his death. Misaki shows up behind him, throwing her knives, which he narrowly dodges. She seems to be enjoying the hunt, charging at Polka, who struggles to block her attacks. He tries to run away, but he falls as Misaki throws a dagger, which hits his leg, but he gets back up, pulling out the dagger and throwing it back at Misaki. Misaki is impressed, as she admits that he intimidates her, fearing that she will fall for him if she's not careful. Polka enters a strange room, wondering what it's for, when Misaki catches up to him, throwing a dagger at his leg, causing him to fall to the ground. She reveals that it was once an execution ground for the Yakuza, and there are rumors that ghosts haunt the room, so people try to avoid it. Polka confirms that the rumors are true, as he uses his evil eye to see the souls of the dead. He realizes that the evil eye is a power of the soul, so he can still use it in Polka's body. Misaki is about to finish him off, but he gathers the powers from the souls in the room, calling forth a monstrous arm, which impales Misaki and instantly kills her. Back in the other world, the Corpse God is seemingly defeated, but Sagrua wonders about his final spell, doubting that the Corpse God was truly defeated, because his soul vanished too quickly. His companion informs him that the soul of the Corpse God is no longer in their world, but the hero still has his doubts. In a flashback, we learn that the corpse god could not live a peaceful life because of the evil eye. He was sold by his parents to the court sorcerers, and he fought countless battles as a necromancer until the empire fell, but all he really wanted was peace. He eventually lives in peace with humans, even finding love, but the soldiers start hunting down necromancers because they enslave the spirits of the dead. They end up killing the people close to him during their hunt, causing him to become enraged as he goes on a quest for vengeance, tormenting people for centuries and killing countless soldiers while he stays in an abandoned coal mine. Despite all the bloodshed, he still desires peace, but even as he waited for centuries, he still couldn't find it. He couldn't die a natural death, so he waited for someone who could defeat him so that he could be reincarnated in a new body and finally find peace. Back in the present, Polka is surprised to see that Misaki is already dead, wanting to ask her some questions, and he is worried that he will be hunted down by the police if they find her body. Kurai saw everything with his drone, and he starts questioning his sanity when he receives a call from his boss, Clarissa, asking what's taking the mission so long, so he sends her the video file of what just happened. In another flashback, we learn that Misaki's parents truly loved her, allowing her to enjoy her childhood, but her life was ruined when her parents were murdered before her eyes by a man named Jinba. Because of this, she trained to be an assassin, eventually finding the man and making him suffer. Misaki reveals that she is not killing him for revenge, but because she enjoys killing her targets, which just happen to be bad people. She eventually receives the mission to kill Polka, and she accepts it, wanting to know what it's like to kill someone innocent. Misaki hits him with a crowbar, making her realize that killing innocent people is also fun. But she starts to question her existence, thinking that she's better off dead, even thinking about taking her own life, when suddenly, she receives a call from Kurai, informing her that the target is still alive. Back in the present, Misaki wakes up, surprised to see that her wound is healed. Polka reveals she is technically dead, but she was reborn through magic. They are suddenly surrounded by a group of men, as Clarissa appears before them. Clarissa hugs her, checking to see if she is alive, but realizes she has no pulse, as Polka explains she is pretty much like a zombie. 40 minutes earlier, Kurai tells Clarissa about Polka's whereabouts, so she finds him, asking him about the sigils that she's seeing, as Polka uses his magic to heal Misaki. He asks them who they are, and Clarissa claims that they are Misaki's friends. Polka reveals that Misaki's brain and soul are still intact, but someone needs to use resurrection magic on her, but everyone is confused, because nobody can use magic in this world. He wants everyone to think that they were merely hallucinating, as he threatens to attack them with his weapons. They point their guns at him, but he pins one of them down with a huge skeletal hand, saying that he has no idea how fragile humans are without magic. They suddenly learn that a nearby building is on fire, and Polka's magical eye sees it, but it immediately gets sliced by one of Clarissa's companions. Clarissa tells him that the building is a safe haven for orphan children, and Polka remembers the children that were dear to him in his past life, so he decides to help out. Kurai's drone leads the way, and he uses his magic to swing around the town, allowing him to travel faster. Upon reaching the building, he uses his evil eye, allowing him to see the life force of the children that are trapped. He uses a skeletal arm to throw him into the building, where he sees 4 souls with the children who are struggling. They are the souls of the parents of the orphan children. He asks for their help, making skeletal bodies for them to possess. The skeletons rescue the children, putting them on a huge skeletal hand that lays them down on the ground. Polka manages to escape, but the event gets posted on social media, and everyone learns about Polka's skeletons. Kurai thinks about what kind of person Polka is, because he didn't value Misaki's life, but he saved the children from the building, making him think that Polka is different from them. He tells Clarissa that she shouldn't mess with Polka, seeing him as a monster, and Clarissa agrees with him, telling him that Misaki is about to wake up. Back in the present, Polka realizes that children still suffer in this world, so he wonders how he can find peace. Clarissa asks him what peace means to him, telling him that she can achieve peace by having lots of money. She asks Polka about his goal, and he explains that he knows nothing about the place, but he would like to use his necromancy to earn some money, wanting power and a place to belong, saying that it would help him attain peace. Clarissa wants him to join her team. She is sure that he is not the same person that they wanted to kill, and she offers to help him adjust to the world. The videos of Polka's skeletons continue to circulate online, which impresses Misaki. Polka uses his skeletons to help move furniture into their new home, and they hang out together. Misaki reveals that she is actually thrilled to hang out with the man who killed her, because she's never been killed before. We learn that Clarissa owns the building they're in, and it's called the Torture Building, and it's actually filled with ghosts. Polka begins to doubt that he is in another world, because the animals are similar to the ones he used to know, but he is happy because the Geldwood religion doesn't exist in this world, explaining how he used to be hunted down by the religion, because he was an abomination known as the corpse god. Polka thinks he will finally be able to achieve peace if he can find the person who wanted to have his body killed. Clarissa knows the person, but keeps it a secret, allowing him to use the building in exchange. Polka decides to investigate on his own, knowing that Clarissa won't accept any more contracts on his life. But Kurai reveals that Clarissa is not the only intermediary for assassins, although he acknowledges that not many people could kill Polka, although he mentions a person called Lemmings, but quickly dismisses the idea. Kurai wonders if it was a good idea to bring Misaki back to life, and Polka reveals that the body's owner told him to forgive her, revealing that his soul is now in the drone. Polka has the power to make people's souls inhabit vessels, and he admits that human lives are like toys to him, making Kurai think he is trouble. Polka thinks about earning money, asking them about the jobs in the world. Misaki suggests doing some assassinations, saying he should be good at it, because he was able to kill her. At that moment, they have a visitor who wants to meet Misaki, and he asks for her help, because he is being targeted by hitmen from another gang. Misaki tells him that she is in the middle of another job, but Polka interrupts, accepting the request, and this makes Misaki accept it as well. They receive information that the hitmen are in an abandoned warehouse, revealing that they used to work for Jinba. Misaki dashes toward the warehouse, but she immediately gets ambushed. Misaki fights them off, calling them limps, but she is suddenly shot from behind by the man who asked for her help. The man reveals that they are there to avenge Jinba, ordering his men to kill her as he turns his back. He sees Polka, who grabs everyone's attention as Misaki grabs hold of a thug's leg. Polka informs them that Misaki is a zombie, so she can't be killed that easily. Misaki gets back on her feet and sends a thug flying, while Kurai calls Polka, asking him if he knew that it was a trap. Polka says that he didn't, but he accepted the request because there were souls of children that were haunting the man. He summons his giant skeletal arms, crushing all the men into a boulder and allowing the children's spirits to rest in peace. After that, Misaki is happy to see that the bullet holes in her body have already healed, and Kurai wonders why Polka listened to the children's souls, despite seeing human lives as toys. But Polka reveals that he still takes good care of human lives, because they can make children smile. This makes Kurai realize that they are different from Polka, seeing themselves as scum, because of the way they treat their targets. The other members of Jinba's gang want to get revenge, opening their armory, but Lemmings attacks them, wiping out everyone in their gang. Polka reads a book about vampires, claiming that they are real in his world, and he tells Misaki that he could turn her into one if he has enough mana, which makes her excited. Meanwhile, Clarissa receives a phone call from the client who ordered the hit on Polka, but she decides to terminate their contract. We see a man named Kozaburo as he apologizes because he is unable to pay for his beer, which costs 60,000 yen, while a drunk man named Tsubaki is looking for Clarissa as he mentions that bars are ripping off the customers. Back in their room, Polka explains that Misaki's body can self-repair and resist decomposition, as well as being slightly stronger than before. He advises her to eat raw meat if she ever gets seriously injured, and reveals that her saliva can now cause paralysis. She tries it out on him, biting him, which causes him to fall to the ground. Misaki asks Kurai if he also wants to try, but he refuses, calling her a monster. The word monster reminds Polka about the hero who defeated him, thinking about whether there are any people like him in this world. The police investigate the area where Polka crushed the thugs. Lemmings makes his appearance, shattering the boulder that contained the thugs before disappearing. The police hear the noise, rushing to the scene, and they find the bodies of the thugs. Meanwhile, we see Kozaburo as he finishes beating up the men that were scamming him. He receives a call, and so does Tsubaki at the bar, who immediately leaves after receiving the call. Polka realizes that the world isn't so different from where he came from, so he starts to think that the two worlds could be connected. Kurai mentions the thugs he killed, but Polka reveals that they are actually still alive, but they might have gone insane while trapped in the boulder. Kozaburo and Tsubaki make their way to the scene and see the bodies of the thugs that look like human knots. They begin their investigation, revealing that they are detectives of a special police force. At the police station, we learn that Tsubaki and Kozaburo have plenty of experience in dealing with paranormal cases. Tsubaki reveals that there are 3 suspects that are still at large: the Grim Reaper, the fire-breathing bug, and lemmings. Tsubaki reveals that they found a footprint of lemmings at the scene of the incident. They are also looking into the case of the skeletons that saved the orphan children, thinking that it is connected to the fire-breathing bug, who probably started the fire. They consider the possibility that the 2 incidents are connected, but despite the strange nature of the incidents, Tsubaki tells them not to panic, reminding them that the criminals they've caught have turned out to be just ordinary humans. Meanwhile, Polka puts the soul of his body's original owner in a stuffed animal so that Kuruya can use his drone again. He apologizes to the original Polka for assuming his identity, promising to make it up to him. Misaki sees the stuffed animal, finding it cute, and hugs it, which makes it turn red. Kuruya wonders what it's trying to say, and Polka says that he could make human vocal cords to help him speak, but he doesn't have enough mana. He reveals that, as a necromancer, he can obtain more mana by exorcising ghosts, explaining that the souls in their building are a great source of mana. But Kuruya says that there aren't many other buildings that are similar. However, Polka says that it's okay, because the gemstones in this world are an even greater source of mana. They go to a jewelry store, where Polka is surprised to see that the gemstones are incredibly expensive, saying that the gemstones in his world are super cheap in comparison. He plans to save money to buy all of the gemstones in the store, but the shopkeeper tells him that it would cost him almost 4 billion yen to buy everything. After they leave the store, Misaki asks him why he didn't just drain the mana from the stones, and Polka reveals that it would cause the stones to crumble, making it unfair to the shopkeeper. They suddenly encounter Kozaburo, who immediately lunges past them, trying to grab the drone. Meanwhile, Tsubaki finally meets Clarissa at the bar, telling her about the human knots and the building fire, wanting to know if her group is involved with the cases. Kozaburo apologizes for startling them, knowing that Kuruya is the one controlling the drone, and he tries to talk to Kuruya, but Polka interrupts him, telling him that Kuruya is his friend. But Kozaburo calls Kuruya scum, telling Polka he should cut his ties with him.